In this video, let's try to understand how our passwords will be validated by Spring Security by default. So this is the diagram that you can try to understand. First, the user enters his credentials like admin is my username and 1234 is my password. As soon as the user enter login, Spring takes the username and call load by username to the database, and it will try to get all the user details including the password. Once it receives the passwords from the database, it will try to compare what is the password that I have received from the user and is it same or is it equal in the database as well. If both are matches, it will allow further processing of the request. If not, it will throw an 401 unauthorized error which indicate login fails. This approach may look good for us, but it has a lot of issues inside it. The very first issue that I can see is you are storing user details like password, which is a very sensitive data inside your database without any encryption or encoding or hashing. So that means you may say like my website has thousands of users or millions of users and I am storing all their credentials inside my database table and no one can access the table except the application. But still, there might be certain people who can access the table, whatever restriction that you can put, like your DBAs can see the passwords inside your table because you're storing them in a plain text and anyone can see my credentials and they can log into my bank application and they can perform whatever operations they need because they know my username and password. That's one issue. The other issue is you are sending password in a plain text over the network, like from my client browser to your server, backend server. That means you are exposing the most sensitive data inside your application, which is password over the network, which result in two types of issues. One is integrity issues, where your databases administrators can look into the passwords, and confidentiality. Your application is not maintaining confidentiality and it is taking the password in plain text and it is communicating over the network using the plain text. If someone try to intercept my request, they can see what is my password without any effort. So this is the default behavior provided by Spring Security, and this is no harm following it if your application is only specific to lower environments like development, SIT and UAT environments, or your application does not have any valuable information storing inside it and even your customers are fine if someone knows their password. So only in such scenarios you should follow this method. But we can always say 99% of our applications will not need this approach because it lacks lot of security measures and it clearly exposes your passwords like anything to your database administrators or to the network. So to avoid this, we should try to encrypt or hash your password, or maybe if your application is small enough where you or users are fine to lost the password, at least you should try to encode your password. So we are speaking here a lot about encoding, hashing, encryption. But what's the difference between them? In what scenario I have to use them? So let's try to look in detail one by one about them in the next video. Thank you and bye.